Explain to me.
What's up, BroMob?
Did you just break a lung?
I did.
Oh,
I struggled
Christ.
just then. What's up, BroMob?
Wow.
Today, Brian and I are going crazy because we're in week 3 of quarantine, and I'm losing my damn mind right now.
Oh, geez.
It's gonna be a good episode. Let me just put that out there.
That I don't know why, but that made me think of Ozzy Osbourne. Can we just have the intro be Ozzy Osbourne?
I'll ask Ozzy.
Welcome to the show, Chad and Brian, Fantasy Football Bros.
That just needs to be the show from now on.
Oh man,
That needs to be how it starts.
I mean, that's a way to get in. Welcome to the show.
Welcome
I'm your
to the
host,
show,
Brian Davidson, and that's my cohort over there, Chad Davidson. I'm taking over the show. This is my show now, hijacked. We got one heck of a show for you today. Today is Monday, April 6th, BroMob. Yeah, Chad, I'm actually taking over. Like I didn't even ask.
I can see that. Okay.
Welcome in, BroMob. Chad he's gonna take a back seat today. Your boy Brian's got the wheel. Today is Monday, April 6th. We have a absolute jam-packed, sliggity-slacked, mega-tracked show today. What?
Why is it
we're
so
gonna
chapped?
go through. Don't worry about it.
Mega-chapped?
It's been. Dude, if you heard how I was punching these keys earlier, you'd understand why it's chapped.
Oh my god.
So
you need a new keyboard.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a. It's funny you say that. That's actually true because this thing sometimes the keys don't work. I have to punch them even harder.
I wonder why. Because you just naturally punch them as hard as you can.
I'm literally punching the keyboard. So, but yeah, BroMob, we have a packed show for you today. Don't be suspicious. New segment we're gonna roll out here. Really just kind of showcasing the things that we think are suspicious and we really like them and we wanted to keep them under the radar so that other people don't steal them from you. We're going to do some Dynasty Buy Sell, and then we'll wrap it up with a little game. So, Chad, I'm going to pass the hot potato back to you because I have no clue what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to give it to you. All right? So, there you go.
Thank you. Thank you for giving it back. You know what? You did a good job. I give it to you.
Oh,
I'm starting to lose my damn mind, so I needed that little bit of sanity.
Should I go back to the Ozzy Osbourne thing?
Nope. Why are you so damn good at that?
Dude, I'm telling you, I need to get to some karaoke.
Yeah, you're messing up.
Yeah,
I mean, karaoke does not happen.
Ozzy Osbourne and I have a doppelganger throat. So just the throat.
Throat. I don't think you want his throat.
Is that possible? No, I don't know what's been down it or in it. What?
Or around it.
or
through it. I'm not sure.
Oh,
this show's already off to a rough start. Brian, we're going to get into it. We're going to stop ourselves right now. Too much going on. BroMob, before we get into the show, be sure to follow along after the show by following us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Bros Podcast. Check out our TikTok page at Fantasy Football Bros. Search that ever so valuable hashtag BroMob. And be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of news, articles, and so much more. Wherever you listen to us, please leave us a review. We love hearing what you guys have to say about the show. And every once in a while, we'll give you a shout out on the show. Let everybody know what you think, even if it's bad. If you think I need to hear less of Brian singing like Ozzy Osbourne, which I don't know why, because it's perfect. I give you that, Brian.
I don't know how else to do it.
It's perfect. But leave us that review. We love it so much. We'll mention you on the show. Let's get into it with our brand new segment, Don't Be Suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
I love that so much. I just imagine them dancing into the funeral like they were in the whole thing.
Man, I'm sweating. I'm not gonna lie. I actually
Is your
broke a
power
sweat
out?
to start this episode.
I need to know if your power's out before we get into this, because I see nothing but if you look at my screen right now, BroMob, I'm going to try and take a snapshot actually. All you see is a halo of light and Brian in the middle. It's like he's a magician trying to make a commercial.
Yes, take a picture of the stoicness of one Brian Davidson.
Brian L. Davidson.
Yeah, Chad, we're trying to stay under the radar here in this quarantine. I don't know if there's a purge going on out there or not, and I don't want people to think there's somebody living here. So we basically cut the power. I don't know how
that makes sense.
That's possible.
That makes sense because it's absolutely pitch dark. For whatever reason, you have a spotlight on you. I don't know where you got one during these dire times, but you have found a spotlight.
Yeah, so basically, we're just using the bare minimum essentials in life, and and this is not a spotlight; it's actually the outside light coming through the window.
Good old nature, nature making its way in.
Yeah, as you roll out the intro to this segment, Chad, I'm gonna do what the normal humans do, and that's turn on the lights.
Yeah, that's thank you for that. But Brian, you actually segued pretty nicely there, and keeping under the radar, because these picks, we're trying to not be suspicious about them. We're trying not to give away that we like these guys, because damn it, we want them on our fantasy teams. We're no suspiciousness here. And the reason we're talking about this now is because BroMob, we like you. We want you to know who we like and who we want on our radars, who we want on our teams. So Brian, I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to gauge like what you're giving away, your trade secrets. I'm going to gauge what my secrets are based off of that and not give away as much so that I win more.
Oh. Well, Chad, I like to be kind, and by being kind, I like to help BroMob win championships. Okay, that's what I do, and I want them to do it too. And so, therefore, I'm going to give away some snippets. All right, now BroMob, I got to tell you something. When I give you these names, don't be suspicious. All right, it's like when you're playing cards, Chad, and you get pocket rockets. The first thing you don't want to be suspicious. You don't want to be like, oh my, and you start crumpling up, your hands. You get all sweaty. You're suspicious. I bet you have pocket rockets. You don't want to be that. So here's my first pocket rocket for you. All right, Ronald Jones, running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There is an asterisk on this one, and I will talk about it in a second. But here's the deal. Here's why I like Ronald Jones thus far. Barring, and the asterisk is they don't draft another running back. Now, even if they draft a guy, depends on the type of player they draft, be a role type guy, etc. So, but I like Peyton Barber, or I'm sorry, I like Ronald Jones. I like Peyton Barber.
Since when?
Peyton Barber, I don't see. Here's the thing. I read my note, and it went into my brain, and out came poo-poo. All right. So who I really like is Ronald Jones. The reason I like Ronald Jones is because Peyton Barber is now a Washington Redskin, Chad. So that leaves one Ronald Jones as the clear running back one for the team. I think he's going to be the lone back. He'll inherit a majority of the carries on the team. Here's another reason why I like him. He inherits a quarterback named Thomas Bradyeth. All right. And Thomas Bradyeth loves to throw to his running backs. He likes running backs that can catch out of the backfield, i.e. James White from New England. And this is a team that is, or I'm sorry, a player that is really good at catching out of the backfield. He did well last year, and I think he'll do well this year as well. He's also going to have a team that defenses are likely going to focus on stopping the pass. They've got talented wideouts. They've got a quarterback that can get the ball to these talented wideouts. I highly doubt defenses are going to scheme to stop Peyton Barber, right? They're going to scheme to stop
Peyton Barber.
Why do I keep saying Peyton Barber? Ronald Jones.
I agree, Brian. They are not going to scheme to stop Peyton Barber.
Yeah, it's
just
a good
erase
point.
the note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Erased it. Erased it. I have inherited Ozzy Osbourne's brain, apparently. So here's the deal. They're not going to be scheming to stop Ronald Jones. They're going to be scheming to stop these talented wideouts. So that's another reason why I love Ronald Jones. So right now, I love his price. He's going in the late 8th round. He's a potential, I'm going to say the word very firmly, potential RB1, high-end RB2. If he's given the work, right? He's got to have the workload. He's got to have the team's got to really invest in him as the guy. And I think if they do, I think he's got the potential and the talent to do it.
Aren't you afraid of Dare Ogunbowale, Brian? I think I pronounced his name impeccably, by the way. Dare
I think you did.
Ogunbowale.
Yeah, Dare Ugabugalawalo. Yeah. Got it.
No is your answer. Okay, I got it. How do you want to do this? You know what? No, I run the show. Get out of this. You keep trying to take it over. I'm going to go next, and then you go with your guy. BroMob, I've actually recently mentioned this guy in some Twitter posts, but I am in love with Jamison Crowder in 2020. Robbie Anderson's gone, okay? Even with Robbie Anderson on the team, Jamison Crowder saw more than 120 targets last season, just very sneakily. He came in there and he was getting targeted in the red zone, which he had 8 catches in. He was targeted more, but he had 8 catches there, and he was getting targeted in the end zone at the end of the season where we saw multiple touchdowns come into play. This is the type of guy who could sneakily become that strong flex play on your team, and he's going in the 11th round right now. He's actually going at the 11:06 in redrafts, half-point PPR. That is crazy to me. And here's the thing. So I know Robbie Anderson's gone, so you might be thinking they're going to go wide out in the first round. I don't think that's the case. They still need, and I know they brought in an overhaul of offensive linemen. I don't think it was a good enough overhaul. They need a top-tier left tackle to protect Sam Darnold on this team. And I think that's what they're going to do in their pick. They're not going to go for Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. Instead, they're going to protect their quarterback and let him throw to the guys that he already trusts. Maybe they'll grab a wideout in the 2nd round or the 3rd round. But if that's the case, then I see Jamison Crowder really shining in 2020. Maybe not down the road, but this other wide receiver kind of building up momentum and target share in the offense. But Jamison Crowder in 2020, this is mint. I love it.
Yeah, Chad, I like him too. I'm with you. I also like the guy they brought in, Brashard Perryman. I know he's a guy that people are probably going to look away from. But I mean, look, he shined as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I think he has the potential. Other than Crowder, there's really no one else there. And I think he has the potential to really shine. This is the Jets, I think, are a team they're not going to be dynamic on offense, right? Yeah. I mean, this isn't the Arizona Cardinals or the Kansas City Chiefs, right? It's Adam Gase, guys. All right, he's looking at tacos flying around in the air, with his bug eyes.
Flying tacos.
Flying tacos, right? Exactly. I mean, and I'd be looking at a flying taco too. If I'm being quite honest,
that would be pretty amazing, to be honest.
It really would. What a world that would be, huh? Just tacos flying around. You just grab one.
Live in the world.
Are they Doritos?
Fantasy flying tacos are going on? Not fantasy football.
Are they
fantasy flying tacos? Because it's a fantasy world.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather have a Doritos Locos taco.
I mean, yeah, that's not out of the question, Brian.
Not to get sidetracked here. This is a really serious conversation now. But yeah. Did you know that Taco Bell's giving away free Doritos Locos tacos on Tuesday?
This coming Tuesday?
Yeah, apparently that's the case. That's just what I'm hearing on the street.
Now.
Yeah, I'm hearing that on the street. So I will not guarantee that.
Would you consider a chalupa a taco?
I do not. No, it's the reason it has a different name is because it's different.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. So my next guy here is a guy that I really love. This has been a guy that I've been kind of mildly in love with, Chad, for about 3 years now. Would you not agree?
I don't think it's mild. I think it's very vocal.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm trying to downplay it a little bit. All right. This guy is running back of the Detroit Lions, Kerryon Johnson. Now, here's the deal. He's going in the 4th round, BroMob. This is a guy that was drafted in the 2nd round last year. I think he's being completely undervalued at the moment due to his injury history. I get it. I do get it. But in the 4th round, this is a running back. This is an RB1 that you can get for cheap. And here's the reason I say that. I mean, listen to these numbers, Chad. To start the season, this is through first 6 weeks because they had a week 5 bye. But first 6 weeks, a rough start week 1, oddly, against the Cardinals, 7.2 fantasy points. But then he goes for 15.8, 10.8, 14.7, and 13.1. Now, I'm sorry, if he stays healthy, even if he plays 12 to 14 games on the season, that is a stat line. That's an RB1, low-end RB2, or high-end RB2, I'm sorry, that I want on my team, especially when you've got a team that, I mean, he is a 3-down back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's only 22 years old right now, Chad. So he's still young. I think he can get through these injury issues he's had. I hope anyway. He's such a talented running back that he's a guy that I think you have to target and you have to mark his name, especially if by draft season, Chad, he's still going in the 4th round. I think you've got to take a flyer on him at that point.
Would you, let's say you're at the end of the 3rd, would you take a flyer on him then? I know he's going at the 401 right there
Sure.
at the turn. Would you jump ahead if you're like at 310, 309?
I probably would. I mean, look, you're getting a guy. If that's where you're taking him as your RB2. Maybe unless you've gone wide receiver, and you're taking him as your RB1. I would not do that because of the injury history, and I get that. But I would take a flyer on him at that point if he's my RB2.
Yeah, I can see that. I know you said he's a 3-down back, but I would love to see the team actually go to a 2-down role for him to keep him healthy throughout the season if this whole injury history is going to continue with him. I mean, he still would be good as a 2-down back.
No, I'm with you on that. I think that'd be smart. Is to bring a guy in.
Okay, so the
draft
next guy I got here, BroMob, I'm sticking in the 11th round because I tend to find steals at this point. And what I like to find in the 11th round steals are tight ends. Every year, one goes in the 10th or 11th round. Last year was Mark Andrews. The year before that, it was George Kittle. This year, I'm putting my stamp on him. Jonnu Smith of the Tennessee Titans. This is the guy. This is the guy that's going to be a top 5 tight end going in the 11th round in the 2020 season. Delaney Walker's gone. Delaney! I don't know why I'm thinking that right now. Why?
Delaney!
He's gone, all right? And Jonnu Smith, it's his time to shine in this offense. A.J. Brown is the home run threat down the field, keeping the middle of the field open for Jonnu Smith to kind of tear it up. And we've seen him do that when Delaney Walker is injured and he's healthy himself. I love this guy. I think he's going to be basically Ryan Tannehill's security blanket in this offense, especially with Deion Lewis gone. There's no security blanket in the backfield anymore. Derrick Henry is that guy. I love Jonnu Smith, and I'm going to try and grab him pretty much everywhere. So, Brian, stay away from him. Keep your paws off him. Know that I'm not going to get him.
I mean, look,
I'm not going for him, so don't go for him either.
Yeah, you're being really suspicious right now, to be honest. All right, Chad. Well, I'm going to move on because you're being suspicious. I know I just wrote down Jonnu Smith. I'm going to tell you that I do not like this guy going in, all right? I don't like him. I would not draft him. I wouldn't even – as a matter of fact, I'm just going to tell you so you could scratch him off your list. Clearly, I'm being facetious. My guy here is Kenyon Drake. I don't know why I went 3 running backs. These are just names that I thought of, but here's why I like Kenyon Drake, running back of the Arizona Cardinals. And here's the deal. He's going in the late 5th round at the 5'11 right now in mock drafts. BroMob, this is a running back that once he was given the rock full time as the Arizona Cardinals running back, he was the RB3. What?
Dwayne Johnson. I'm sorry.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson? I mean,
yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, okay. So once he was given Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I mean, where do you come up with? Oh, because I said The Rock.
Yeah.
Brian's brain took a second to process. All right. Once he was given Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he was the RB3 there on out. All right. He was dynamic. He looked like the perfect fit for this offense. And I do think that translates into this season. I do think the team traded for him for a specific reason. They knew his skill set. They were looking for something specific. And there's a reason that they tagged him and brought him back this year. There's a reason they traded David Johnson to the Texans. So now you have no David Johnson. You have a guy that is the RB1 on the team. And I think you've got a possible RB1 or a high-end RB2 in the late 5th round. And I'm telling you, even if he's an RB2 on the high end, that is a steal in the 5th round. So to get a guy like that, and he's always been the player, Chad, that he's always wanted a chance to prove himself. Mm-hmm. You know, when he was in Miami, he never got the lead role, and when he did, they kind of took it away. So finally, he goes to a team that embraces him. I think this is a breakout year for him. I really do, and I think Kenyon Drake is going to possibly be the guy that wins a lot of people championships this year.
Yeah, I think Kenyon Drake is this year's Mark Ingram. New team, finally the guy gets a chance, shines. That's what I'm seeing there. But I do want to say that I also really like Chase Edmonds going in the 13th round for that team. I think that's quite possibly the biggest steal in the world, considering how they were using him before Kenyon Drake last season.
Well, and not only that, but he is a must handcuff. Like based on the way he played and his production when Kenyon Drake wasn't there, he is a guy that you have to have as a handcuff. Because if you're a Kenyon Drake owner and you draft him in the 5th, not having that guy as your cuff if Drake goes down, it could cost you the season because you're just not going to have that talent level at that draft spot. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just not going to get. I don't think you're going to find a running back that's going to produce Kenyon Drake numbers this year in the 5th or 6th round.
Big words from a little man.
English. Why you gotta dog me like that?
I don't know why. I'm
the same height as me.
Sassy, fat and sassy today, Brian. Okay. Moving on to my last pick here. That's Mr. And you know what? This guy was going in the 2nd round of last year. I have no idea his falling from grace and how it's gone this far. I get it. He had a bad season last year, but he also had terrible quarterbacks throwing to him. That is Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster himself. He's going in the 7th round, BroMob. 707, almost towards the end of the 7th round. That is insane. And also, blasphemous in my eyes. Big Ben is coming back. He doesn't have Mason Rudolph throwing that rock anymore. He doesn't have Duck Hodges throwing him the football anymore. And everyone is in love with Deontay Johnson, right? I am too. And if he blossoms into a good wide receiver 1 on that team, Juju benefits. Because what Juju is best at is a slot receiver. He's incredible at it. Put him back in the slot. Deontay Johnson, please shine as a wide receiver 1 because Juju becomes a fantasy wide receiver 1 based off of that. I love him. 7th round. That is ridiculous. Jump all over that, BroMob.
Yeah, Chad, just a side note. Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's been living in a cave for last year.
Yeah, I think he might have been. He looks like a troll if you've looked at him. Like, actually from a cartoon made by Disney, a rock troll. I will not say the Disney name in case Disney wants to attack us. So that will do it for our Don't Be Suspicious picks, BroMob. Now we're going to move into a little segment called Buy Sell.
What about his 2 friends, George Washington and George Washington?
Oh, man.
So, BroMob, this is the Dynasty edition of Buy Sell. I have no idea why there's an explosion. Brian requested an explosion be used in this episode. So there you go, Brian. You've gotten your wish. Your wish has been granted.
Oh, my God.
Foreshadowing into our game.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a Dynasty focused buy-sell segment, Chad. So I'm going to start it off. And I'm going to ask you, Chad, for Dynasty this year, if you happen to have Phillip Lindsay, running back of the Denver Broncos, on your team, you're not too happy possibly because of the Melvin Gordon signing. on that team. So my question for you is, are you buying Philip Lindsay or are you selling him at this point?
I'm going to buy Philip Lindsay because he's dirt cheap. He's going to get used in the passing game. And Melvin Gordon has an extensive injury history. And when he gets injured, Philip Lindsay is once again the guy, and he's going to put up solid RB2 numbers for you like he always does. So I'm buying him. I think you can get him for pretty much next to nothing right now because people are very disappointed in the Melvin Gordon signing. And I mean, Royce Freeman is still there too. So it's one of those you can just get him for dirt cheap type of moves.
Yeah, Chad. I don't disagree with you. If you're a Philip Lindsay owner, you can't sell him, right? His value is all time low right now. But you got to be careful with how much you're paying to buy for him. Melvin Gordon's going to be there for at least 2 years. He signed a 2-year deal. And so, Philip Lindsay, it's going to be interesting. Lindsay has said he's going to, push Melvin Gordon for the role. And I don't think he's going to just fall away. I think this is going to be a split backfield. And like you said, if Melvin Gordon happens to go down to injury, Philip Lindsay all of a sudden is a workhorse back that you got for next to nothing. So I'm with you. I think I want to buy him right now if I can get a really good price. What would you be willing, like from a draft capital standpoint, Chad? What would you be willing to give up for a Philip Lindsay right now?
Ooh, I think for 2020, I'd probably give up a third for him, or I'd probably be willing to give up a second in 2021.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking kind of the same thing. Or I would give up. I would be willing to give up 2 third-round draft picks for the next 2 years. So I'd give a 2020 and a 2021 third.
Got it.
And throw that out there. So you're giving up basically 2 players for one. And ultimately, if you can hit on one of those guys and grab a running back, and get them on your team, I think you did pretty well. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brian, I'm going to give you another name here, and I kind of know where you're going to go with it already. Odell Beckham Jr., Cleveland Browns wide receiver.
Yeah, so if I own OBJ on my team, it's kind of like the Philip Lindsay situation. Like it's at his all-time low. You can't sell him. He's been a bust for the last 3 years, really. I said last year that I thought he'd be a bust. And he had a high bust potential, and that he did. And so I don't know. I don't know what to make of OBJ. My fingers were crossed for OBJ owners that Cleveland would try to deal him, and they still could. They still could at the draft. I think they should, to be honest with you. But I think there's just so much talent on the team. I don't think he's needed, and you could get a lot for him because. And the other thing too, you have to look at OBJ's age. He's 28 years old. He's not going to get any younger at this point. So if you're an OBJ owner, if you can still capitalize on the OBJ name and you can grab some good draft capital, maybe a player and a draft pick, I would entertain moving him because I honestly, unless he gets traded to another team, I don't think his days in Cleveland are going to produce better results going forward. I think you're going to have the same result as last year, to be honest. So, but I mean, I could also see hanging on to him and hoping that maybe something happens.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm on the bandwagon of holding. I don't think you're going to get the value back for him, and I don't think he's worth buying at the same time. So if you have him, you're holding him. If you don't have him, you're not going for him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would not want to trade. I mean, unless I'm getting him for like a 3rd-round pick. Mm-hmm. Same as Philip Lindsay. If somebody said, hey, or if I said, hey, I'll give you a 2023 for OBJ, Chad, am I crazy to offer it?
Nope.
I mean, for upside potential, but that's about all I'm willing to give away from him or for him. I mean, so I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be tough for OBJ owners, and I think you'll look backwards in 2 years from now, and everybody that drafted OBJ over the last couple of years will wish they hadn't.
Yep.
All right, Chad. Let's we got 2 more guys here. Let's get through, and then we got to get to this game because it's really a good game. I like it. Running back, Chad. This is a guy this is a big name. All right,
Very big.
I think I know I think I know where you're going to go with this. All right. Running back Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans. Are you going to buy him or are you going to sell him after this insane year he just had?
I am selling. I think I've mentioned what I don't like about running backs right now, and this is the whole holdout situations. I know this year going to be a little bit different with the whole uncertainty of coronavirus, so I think a lot of the players, Derrick Henry included, are going to be signing their tenders he already has. So it pretty much guarantees that they're going to play, and if they don't, then they're really hurting themselves at that point. But I can see it being the future if he's not getting paid again, Derrick Henry holding out, if he does well this year, and possibly missing a season. I don't like that possibility. And coming off of a great season, led the league in rushing yards, a huge name, everything that he did in the playoffs. He pretty much carried the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs there, single-handedly beat teams, looked like a monster. I'm selling that. I mean, these running backs, if you look at them historically, they have 3 to 4 year windows that they do great, and he's coming up on the end of that window. So I would take the chances of multiple draft picks and possibly a younger player as opposed to keeping him on the team. If I'm looking at longevity and I want my team to be good for the next 5 years, I'm trading him.
Yeah, Chad, and this is where you and I are probably going to differ. I'm buying Derrick Henry. He is. I have waited for this moment for him to be the bell cow on that team since his rookie year. I have said many times that I thought his talent was so incredible, and I couldn't understand why Tennessee would not commit to him at a younger age. And when they finally did, you got the results you saw, and that was. I really think you're going to see 2.0 version of that this coming year. It might not be quite as much because you typically will see some regression. But I do think Derrick Henry, I mean, look, the team has said, and Derrick Henry has also has said that they're expecting to have a deal done by the July 15th deadline. So I do think they strike a deal because I think these running backs are scared to hold out. Look at Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon said he regretted holding out. Didn't get anywhere near the deal he was being offered from LA when he was there. Same thing for you look at Le'Veon Bell and his situation. I mean, he was being offered basically the same deal he would have gotten in Pittsburgh, just got out of Pittsburgh. I don't know if he regrets it or not, but I mean, he basically didn't get paid for an entire year. So, I mean, I would regret it. Zeke is kind of the only guy that has held out at the running back position of recent and actually cashed in because of it. And, ultimately, I don't see Derrick Henry as a Zeke caliber talent. I think he's let me rephrase. I think he's a very talented running back. But ultimately, I think, Zeke Elliott is on another level. And so, but yeah, I'm going to try to buy him as long as I'm not overpaying big time. And I think that's the problem is right now you're going to overpay. So you're not selling him for sure, in my opinion, but I don't know that you're buying him either.
Agree to disagree. I'm selling that King Kong monster all day long.
Well, you do it. And I will buy it cheaper. King
That's
Kong
all people
Henry.
are thinking about right there.
King Henry.
And then finally, Brian, this is a little bit lesser of a name, but I don't think lesser of a talent. But go ahead and say it. Last year, he was a rookie, injured for most of the year, came back and didn't impress very much, but he was used a little bit towards the end zone, towards the end of the season. So, N'Keal Harry, wide receiver of the New England Patriots. Tom Brady's gone. Julian Edelman on his last, I would call his last leash in the NFL. What are you kind of feeling with this youngster?
Yeah, I like N'Keal. I think he's a very talented wide receiver. I think it's unfortunate for him that he loses Tom Brady as the guy throwing him the ball. But I mean, ultimately, he should still be the wide receiver one on a very young New England team that's likely to be behind in a lot of games. And this coming year, I mean, they still have a talented defense. Let's not forget that. Like, that's a very talented defense on the other side of the ball. So they may still be in some games here, but they're likely to get smoked on a couple on a majority of their games. So I see New England throwing the ball a lot. I see N'Keal Harry getting targeted a lot. If he can stay healthy, he's a big body in the end zone. I like his touchdown potential.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying. And the thing is, there's a reason that the Patriots drafted him so early. That when they've never drafted a wide receiver in the first round. Yep. There's a reason why fantasy analysts out there, us included, had N'Keal Harry pretty much on par with A.J. Brown as the best wide receivers, and then DK Metcalf kind of right there at the number 3 in fantasy drafts last year for the rookie drafts. So, I mean, he's a very talented guy. He just came back from injury. It probably took him a little bit longer to get healthy and acclimated to a very tough offense. I mean, it's always really hard for any wide receiver to come into New England and learn that offense. And also, it's really hard for them to get on good grounds with Tom Brady. So I think with Brady being gone, it kind of helps them. And if they go with somebody like Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, Jarrett Stidham was probably passing to N'Keal Harry during practices and that second squad. So I think there's probably already some chemistry built between the two of them. And if that's the guy, that's going to look nice.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I think N'Keal's going to have a bright career. And I do think New England finds a solution at quarterback to replace Tom Brady at some point. So from a dynasty standpoint, you got to look beyond just this year.
Agreed. All right, Brian. Good talk about dynasty. Well said about players. I disagree with Derrick Henry, but we did pretty good around the rest of it agreeing. So let's get into a fun little game. All right, Brian, this quarantine period has got me crazy. So every once in a while, I go out on walks, right? I'm not supposed to, hush, hush, but I go out on walks, all right? I need to get out of the house. Now imagine, you two, let's say you go out on the walk or I go out on the walk. Imagine you're going down this trail. All of a sudden you get a glint in your eye. What was that? It hurt my eyeball. You go into the woods, pick it up, and it's this weird-looking lamp. And you go, I have seen Aladdin. I know what this is. You give it a rub-a-dub-dub. Out comes a genie.
Christina Aguilera.
Will Smith. Will Smith comes out.
Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera comes out. Even better. Christina Aguilera in genie form.
Yep.
Comes out of it and says, I can't even do, I was going to do a stoic genie voice, Brian, but now you've hit me with Christina Aguilera.
I believe she comes out and goes, I'm a genie in a bottle.
I'm going to grant you 3 wishes for fantasy. Chad Davidson. She just keeps going down the line. You're like, I'm already sick of you. But no, 3 wishes are granted to you, Brian, for the upcoming 2020 fantasy football season. You cannot wish for a championship, just like you can't wish for more wishes in normal circumstances. What would those 3 wishes be for you?
So my first wish would be to wish for an injury-free season. You know, can you imagine a season, Chad, where you don't have an injury bug? You go through the whole season, your guys stay healthy, they produce. Because of that, you're not having to get creative, and you're able to capitalize on the talent and the hard work you did leading into the season. My first wish would be for an injury-free season.
All right. What is your wish number 2?
Wish number 2, Chad. At first I was like, maybe I should wish to dominate the draft, but I don't need to wish that because I just do it naturally. So, what I would actually wish for is I would wish for a really easy schedule. I would wish for the schedule gods to grant me a cake schedule on the year. And, Chad, you don't normally know you have a cake schedule until you look backwards and you're like, man, I just got lined up. And everything fell into place this year. So, imagine if you had an injury-free season and a cake schedule to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be nice.
You're already liking it. And then the last thing I would wish for, Chad, would be for all of my foes to have the worst schedule possible. The exact opposite of my schedule. I would want them to have they would have one of the highest scores or the high score of the week every week. So basically I would want you to have, so let's say I'm wishing this on you, Chad, because I actually kind of am. So I would want you to have the second highest score of the week every week, but you also inherit the guy that has the high score of the week. So it's so
so you mean my every season
painful
in fantasy football?
Yes,
okay,
exactly. So like normal for you, basically.
Yeah.
So I would want you that way. It's even more painful because you're like I did everything right and I still went winless. So because in that scenario you don't win any games.
Yep. Yeah, I hate everything about that.
Yep, there you go. That's my wishes, and by doing that, I believe that I've lined myself up to basically become a champion.
So in doing so, you've pretty much wished that you're a champion.
Yep, but yeah. In the
Okay.
I tricked. Basically, I hacked the genie's wish system. So
Of course. I'm going to go ahead and make my 3 wishes now. My wish number 1 would be for Bill Belichick to finally stick with a running back, and for that running back to be Sony Michel. Because, damn it, I think he's a very good running back. He's got a lot of potential, and I hate how much he gives the rock to James White, how much he gives it to Rex Burkhead. I mean, Sony Michel was seeing 19 carries before Rex Burkhead came into that offense last season. That dropped down, or 19 touches, sorry. That dropped down to 14.6 touches when Rex Burkhead came in. Why? Why is Rex Burkhead seeing that much field? And why is James White still on this team? Even with Dom, I just don't understand. I love Sony Michel. I hope he gets a chance. That's my first wish. Bill Belichick, make a decision, please. My second wish, Brian, would be for the Eagles to also stick with running back, because my boy Miles Sanders on that team is an absolute rig zorb. I love everything about him. He is phenomenal at the running back position, but man, the Eagles are worse than the Patriots. Here, mark my words, Brian. Boston Scott is going to be more relevant than he needs to be in 2020. I think he's going in the 13th or 14th round, and we could see him possibly with 400 rushing yards, 500 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. And you're like, why? Why am I seeing this right now? Boston Scott, Miles Sanders should be eating everything alive.
absolute beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up, Scotty is going to be beaming everybody's world out of their head. It's like you're going to sit down on the couch and like, why am I even in fantasy football anymore? I hate everything about the Eagles. That's what's going to happen.
Can we get a beam me up Scotty drop at some point this year, and also a set stun or set phasers to stun drop?
Yes, we can get both of those.
Oh, and just I need just the sound of the beam up thing where it's like, it does like the like that. I just need that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That
I'll just
and
record you.
and I need the deck alarm where it's like burp, burp. Like we need a very complex Star Trek drop system. All for Boston Scott.
Okay. All for Boston. Everything is Boston Scott.
Basically,
okay, perfect.
Yeah. So basically, when Boston Scott if let's say, God forbid, our boy goes down to injury, right? And Boston Scott all of a sudden is there. That's when you hit the deck alarm, right? Burp. So we need some drops to basically go through all the emotions of what is about to come in 2020.
Dinosaur kills man, inherits the world.
Boston Scott inherits the earth.
Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, it'll happen. I hate everything about it.
Yeah.
And then finally, my last wish is that all of my players that I want in the draft, I can get in the rounds that I want to get them in, and they don't go right in front of me like every friggin' season that happens. I just want my guys. Let me have my guys.
No, it's funny. your wishes were much different than mine. They were more, you want to see these players shine. Mine were much more selfish. Like, I need this and I need that, which I'm, it really shows the difference between you and I, because clearly I'm all about me and wanting to dominate you, and you're more like helping others. And I don't know what happened, but
I want. I'm here to help the BroMob win championships.
Well, I mean,
if I can help them win, and in doing so, I win.
Well, I mean, by me winning, I feel like the BroMob does win. So
I feel like
I will say
hard.
Well, I will say
because you said you wish that everybody other than you has the hardest schedule.
In my league, yes, in my league. So,
okay.
Not the BroMob. So, but I will add a fourth wish if I had an asterisk or genie that was like
wish.
Well, hold on. If the genie was like, "Hey, Brian, I really like you. You're a really swell guy. I'm gonna give you a fourth wish."
It's not gonna be what it is. The genie's gonna be like, "Brian, I feel really bad for you. You had the most selfish wishes I've ever heard in my life, and it's clear that you need a little bit more help. Here's one more wish. What would it be?"
I would wish that Tom Brady goes off for a career year and wins the Super Bowl in his first year as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
That would be wonderful.
Because I would just love to see him and then he retires. So he goes 1 year, crushes it with the Super Bowl to stick it to Belichick, and rides off into the sunset as the greatest player, human being, you name it. He's the greatest. Anything you could name, he goes into the category as the greatest. You're like, what's the greatest soft drink in human history? Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Like, it just goes into the slot, like automatic.
Tom Brady's the answer for all of it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The only non-selfish thing that you asked for was that Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. Got it. Which most of the world would disagree with.
Which is why I want it to happen, because I feel like I'm always the guy rooting for like what the world does not want.
God, you hit the worst wishes, the worst wisher I've ever heard in my life.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name's Brian Davidson. All right, BroMob, that is going to be it for this week's show. Be sure to tune in every Monday to stay up to date on the fantasy football world and to gather any insights on how to dominate your fantasy football leagues.
That's right, BroMob. And if you haven't already, get over to keytothetitle.com right now. That is our fantasy draft system for the year. Keytothetitle.com is designed to help you dominate your fantasy draft. We are putting an unbelievable amount of time and work into Key to the Title this year for the 2020 season. So you do not want to miss out. Keytothetitle.com. Head over there right now, put your email address in, and we will keep you updated as to when it drops.
If you're not listening to us on Apple Podcasts, maybe you're on YouTube. We're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, everything underneath the sun. That's where we are. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FFBrosPodcast, and be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of articles, rankings, and so much more. See you next week, BroMob.
Toodles.